And yes, in these last couple of hours, there have been a lot of positive contacts between the two sides when it comes to the Gini-Wijnaldum discussion. By the way, I'm in a new place. I'm not in Rome. This is why I'm kind of doing some videos, some live streams. But I will be back, way more like constant, with potentially daily live streams back again. But just to give you a quick disclaimer, I am not in Rome and all of that. There have been a lot of positive contacts between Roma and between PSG. And Thiago Pinto's objective is very clear. Thiago Pinto's objective is very simple. Giving Mourinho another top quality experienced player. After Dybala, in fact, Thiago Pinto's given it its best to try and get Gini Wijnaldum to Jose Mourinho. And, we'll talk about this deal. One thing which I will say to start this stream is how great it is it's such a good moment to be a Roma fan. And I'm not just saying this because I'm a Roma fan, but because the owners that we have right now have brought everything back that this club needs, that these fans needs, and kind of what this team needs. Now, obviously, they bought Dybala a few days ago. Now, they have another big target, which is Gini Wijnaldum. But apart from that, if you don't know, Roma is officially out of the stock exchange. Now, what does this mean? Beware, I'm explaining a financial economic thing, and I'm a GCSE student who just finished GCSEs this summer. So I'm not an expert when it comes to these things, but I've asked my dad to kind of give him an explanation of what this means, because he works in that area. And so what does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean that Roma is out of the stock exchange? By the way, this is a very simple explanation. So before the Fredkins came, Roma was kind of owned by a lot of different people, if you see what I mean. Many different people owned little actions, which then made a bigger image, which is the Roma image. So there were, many different people were responsible of many different financial actions. When the Fredkins came, they kind of started buying all of these different actions from these people and made it theirs. So that the Fredkins are primarily Roma owners, if you see what I mean. And last week, the Fredkins have reached a 95% of buying all of these financial actions, meaning that they just need 5% more and they're reaching 100%. Meaning that Roma is 100% theirs. What does this mean? Why is it good and why is it positive? This is positive because if a club is 100% owned by people and it isn't owned by many different people, which own many different financial actions, you have less regulations when it comes to spending money. This doesn't mean that we will start spending God knows how much money, but it means that we will have less rules to respect when it comes to buying money, which isn't something illegal, it's something totally fine. And this is the positive news which Roma being out of the stock exchange kind of brings. Sorry about that. As I repeat, I'm a 16 years old. I'm not an expert when it comes to these things, but I've asked my dad and he gave me this explanation and I hope it made it clear. But today, we're not here to talk about this. Today, we're here to talk about another very big target, another very big transfer market objective under the names of Gini Wijnaldum. The only thing which I can say is that if Gini Wijnaldum comes to this team, we are gonna fight for top 3. Obviously, we need other players, we need defenders, we need some replacements as well. But all I can say is, if we get Dybala and Wijnaldum together, it is gonna be great. It's going to be great, and it would put us on such an advantage on Napoli, which is our biggest opponents, and on Lazio as well to get 4th, which is amazing. And Mourinho would be so proud of Thiago Pinto and the Fredkins if he gets Gini Wijnaldum as well. He is a player which we need. In fact, what I will talk about in this deal obviously is how far are we to see Gini Wijnaldum wear a jersey. But apart from that, I want to talk about just how desperately we need this guy. And yesterday's match against Nice was it was a perfect example of it. What did Mourinho do yesterday? Mourinho started, let's call it the B team. Yes, there were some exceptions because Spinazzola started and who else? Yeah, Spinazzola started and Smalling started. So it was kind of a half, 95% B team started yesterday's match. Who started? Excuse me. Who started yesterday in the midfielder? Cristante and Veretout. Veretout is useless. If we have a midfielder who can't pass the ball, it's like having chocolate with no cocoa beans. He's useless. Sell Veretout, please. Not just because we can get him out and stop paying his wages, but I think we could actually get some money from it because some French clubs are actually interested in him. But my biggest thing to look up to yesterday's match is this. We have Cristante and Matic as two main midfielders right now. Both are very similar players. If we start Cristante and Matic together, yes, when it comes to physique, you're great. But when it comes to kind of speeding up your actions, and if you face a top quality team who knows how to hurt you, it is going to be yikes. We need two different midfielders. We need a player like Cristante or Matic, which are very similar players, and we also need a player like WIJNALDUM, who's fast on the ball, who can score a lot of goals, who's fast when it comes to getting back to the defensive section and grabbing balls back. WIJNALDUM is the perfect player to do this. So yes, we just put Dybala. Buy WIJNALDUM as well. Yes, I'm asking a lot, but if we buy WIJNALDUM, it sorts out so many midfielder problems. And this is kind of why we need him, because in the midfielder section, we need two very different players to each other. And right now, we've got too many similar players to each other. Cristante and Matic are too similar. Veretou's useless. Diawara's out of the project. And all of these dynamics. So WIJNALDUM is great. Now, obviously, what is happening? PSG, I've kind of thrown them out of their project. They don't need him anymore. He didn't get a call up for the Japan tour for the preseason of PSG. He didn't get a call. He got left out of the preseason. That is a clear image. And PSG do want him to leave on a permanent deal. However, they will accept, maybe in the first year, maybe in the second year as well, they will accept a loan. But what do PSG want from this loan? PSG want a buyback clause, which is kind of forcing Roma to buy WIJNALDUM back after this loan. So PSG really want him out of the team. At first, PSG kind of asked for a swap of players where WIJNALDUM got to Roma and Zalewski got to PSG. But Roma really rightly said, no, I am not gonna hear anything about that deal. And thank God they did, because Zalewski's one to keep. So now what PSG have kind of asked is, I will give you, what they're kind of agreeing on is, yes, okay, I'm going to give you him on a loan, but you need to buy him back after 1, maybe 2 seasons. So that's kind of the mentality PSG are following. And apparently, following some sources, PSG and Roma have found an agreement when it comes to him joining Roma, and what is missing is an agreement between Roma and WIJNALDUM about the wages you will earn and if PSG can pay some of these wages. Because the initial plan was for Roma to pay 50% of his wages and PSG to pay 50% of his wages. And that is what can happen if some negotiations go on. Otherwise, I think, because right now, WIJNALDUM earns quite a lot of money. If you see what I mean, WIJNALDUM would become the top owner in the team. He earns around 9 million euros at PSG. This is something which Roma cannot do and will not do. And what PSG and Roma are working on is to split the payment of his wages between two. Not necessarily 50% Roma and 50% PSG. It could easily be 60% Roma and 40% PSG. But what Roma and PSG are working on is the division of his wages, and kind of they need to ask and persuade WIJNALDUM to lower their wages, which is doable because WIJNALDUM really, really wants to join Roma. Jose's given him the typical call which he gave to Tammy and he gave to Dybala, and he has convinced him about the project. Nevertheless, WIJNALDUM wants to join Roma, is keen on Roma's project, so there have been a lot of positive contacts between the two sides. Plus, something which I said on the last WIJNALDUM live stream, is that Roma and PSG have got really good relationships. All to do with the Super League stuff. PSG was kind of happy that Roma didn't join the Super League. And then the 6th of August of this year, we were supposed to play a trophy friendly match against Barcelona, and then Roma withdrew from that friendly match, apparently because PSG told them to do so, and Roma actually did so. So the relationships between the oil merchants and the Fredkins are really, really good. This can definitely help the deal, and this is exactly why between the two sides we're having a lot of positive contacts in the last couple of days. And I think Thiago Pinto's big objective is to end this deal between midweek next week, potentially even start. If the positive contacts keep on happening, then I can see this deal ending at the start of that next week, and potentially even up towards the end of next week. One thing which I will say is that there have been a lot of hints when it comes to Wijnaldum joining Roma. The big one being, obviously, there have been 3 very big hints. First one is that when Dybala got announced, the Instagram page 433 kind of posted this graphic of Dybala and Totti together, and Wijnaldum liked the picture. Second hint is that a Roma fan texted Gini Wijnaldum's brother and asked him, I'm not sure if it was a joke or something, but he asked him, please convince your brother to join Roma. And his brother responded going, I will, yellow heart, red heart. And the third hint is this picture over here of Wijnaldum kind of glaring and gazing towards the horizon. And if you see in the comments, the typical 2 eyes. And, many Roma fans are saying that he's kind of looking at the horizon. He's looking at his future. And normally, the 2-eyed emoji, what does it mean? That something will happen in the future. There are a lot of hints. Wijnaldum wants to join, Roma want him, Mourinho wants him, Thiago Pinto wants him, positive contacts between the two sides, positive relationships between the two sides. This is all we need to bring Wijnaldum under Jose Mourinho. And one thing which I will say is, what really needs to be admired of, what's his name again? Thiago Pinto right now, is his ability of getting top quality players and not spending money. This is really something he's doing really well. We bought Dybala on a free agent. Great. We bought Matic on a free agent. We bought Svilor and didn't pay much money from it. We bought Celik and paid 6 million euros. It's actually 7 million euros. Out of all the players we bought right now, and we've bought quite a lot of them, we only spent 7 million. That's the beauty of this. If we can get Wijnaldum on a loan, that means we wouldn't need to pay PSG. And that could potentially mean that if we buy Wijnaldum, we could also buy another midfielder. Who knows? The options right now are 2. Either we go back on Fratese. Right now, the priority is Wijnaldum. And I think, I'll be honest with you, just like the Dybala deal, I'm feeling a positive air around this. And when I say this, I don't want to jinx anything, but normally things do go to plan. So, if we buy Wijnaldum, I could potentially see Thiago Pinto buying even another midfielder, which would be amazing. And the 2 options are Fratese or Scouten from Bologna. He's a very young player, which I love. I absolutely love Scouten from Bologna, who's a young player from the Netherlands. He's very, very blonde. I don't know why I said so, but he is amazing. If we can get Wijnaldum and Scouten in the midfielder section and then leave all the attention to the defensive section, and if we buy players like Senesi, I know we've been linked with Zagadou from Borussia Dortmund, but Thiago Pinto isn't too keen because of his injury, history, and all of these things. It's a really good time to be a Roma fan. And I'm going to say this again, because Thiago Pinto and the Fredkins are doing so many good things in the last couple of days. And there's kind of a big statement which represents how the Fredkins are working. Not many words, a lot of facts. And that's exactly how they should work. I'll keep you updated about Wijnaldum, but just beware that Sky Sports journalists have announced that there have been really positive contacts between the two sides, between PSG and Roma, and you know what this means. Positive contacts are always a good thing. So in the next couple of days, I think we will know what happens between us and Wijnaldum. But all I can say right now, if we were to get Wijnaldum after Dybala, not just us who would be happy, Mourinho would be happy. You know how much Mourinho would love to play with Dybala. I mean, realistically speaking, it's very easy. You know, you clearly see our lineup if we buy Wijnaldum. Because I think if we buy Wijnaldum, now that we bought Dybala, we just need to sort out our defence. And really, we're going to fight for top 3. We are. We truly are. So, it's still going to be tough because Juventus do have a better team than us. Inter do have a better team than us. But with a few more additions, and maybe one of these additions is Gini Wijnaldum, things are going to be great. What about Eric Bailey rumour? Bailey has been a rumour since Mourinho joined. You know, we've been talking about Bailey a lot. In the last couple of hours, Bailey is in England. They're saying that Mourinho really wants Bailey. But who knows? All I know right now is that Thiago Pinto wants to end this Wijnaldum deal, wants to accelerate this Wijnaldum deal, just like he did with Dybala. After this, I think Thiago Pinto will focus on defenders 100%. But it's always great. If we can get by Wijnaldum, it would be amazing. Right, let's read some comments. Wijnaldum is good, but we still need the Fratesi and Senesi to really compete. We definitely need a defender. I'm not sure about Fratesi because I would want Scouted more than Fratesi. After Wijnaldum if we buy him. This is absolutely amazing. So true, Simon. What a time to be a Roma fan. Thanks for all you do too, Simon. Keep it up. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. You know me. Love what I'm doing. I love sharing this passion with everyone. Thanks, Dad. Oh yeah. Thank you to him because it was. You know, I kept on reading this thing about Roma exiting the stock exchange. And I was like, what's going on? And everyone was talking about this being a very positive thing. So, you know, I want my dad working in that area. So I asked him, he explained it to me in a very simple way. And that's basically what it means, what I explained before. Like the video, guys. It don't cost us nothing but help Simon. Appreciate it. Amirba, appreciate it very much. Thank you for the support. Wijnaldum is the key in Roma's project. Fratesi is for the future, says Go David. I agree, Simon Vertu needs to be sold as soon as possible. He never brings anything to the games anymore. Thankfully, we'll look close to this. Yeah, another thing which I don't get about Vertu is that he does not get a single pass correct. How can you be a midfielder and you just don't... no pass Vertu has made in this preseason has been a good pass. That is a massive question mark. Vertu, Kumbula and Ibanez out, says Amurba. Tammy out, says Real Madrid fan. No. If we could sell Kumbula and Ibanez and replace with Ndika and Zagadou, I would be so happy. I would be very happy with Ndika. Not sure about Zagadou, because Zagadou has got a really bad injury history. If we're really desperate, we don't... I mean, he's a free agent as well, so we won't need to pay him, so who knows. Great up. Roma says Jide Emmanuel. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing any name here, by the way. Ibanez, Kumbula and Cristante out, says Young Dachi. I'd say more Vertu than Cristante. Kumbula and Ibanez aren't great, but yeah. Jose effect, I love it. I think Wijnaldum really wants to come, so he will lower his wages. All signs point to us getting our guy Wijnaldum. Yeah, I would really love, I'll be honest with you, I would love to get Wijnaldum. Thiago Pinto is doing incredible work. Keep it up, Pinto. Roma really need defender. Who do you think we will get? Who do I think we will get? I think we'll get Senesi, and I think we'll get another one who will be less talented than Senesi. Maybe Zagadou. But I think we will get Senesi. It isn't confirmed. The fact that I said this doesn't mean that he will be, he'll become a new Roma player. But I think the question was, who do you think we will get? And I responded. We need another backup striker. Elder is not good enough. I agree. We missed Ola Sobakani. Apparently he's going to Napoli. Centre back ranking, first Ndika, 2 Senesi, 3rd Zagadou. I agree. Yesterday's first half was embarrassing. I agree, and you know why? Because Mourinho wanted to start the reserves, and he did so really, really well. I totally agree with him. Start the reserves, give them one last chance. They didn't perform. Some of them need to go. Viña needs to go. Vertu needs to go. Carles Perez needs to go. Shomurodov isn't good, but at least he tried yesterday. And plus, the goal he scored was never offside, so technically we should have won yesterday's match. Yesterday's match really made the perspective, how much we need to get rid of these players. Because I can guarantee you that Viña is 10 times worse than Trippi, or he found a replacement. I can guarantee you that Veretout is 10 times worse than Bove, or he found a replacement. I can guarantee you that Volpato is 10 times better than Carlos Perez, or he found a replacement. You don't know who to pick. You've got weak reserves. What do? You look at the academy team. You stop playing these dumbasses and you start playing the academy team. Bove and Volpato are great. Really, I want them to play more. That's exactly what Mourinho wanted to see yesterday. He kind of, in my opinion, wanted to give one last chance to these players. They failed. You're out. Because he knows that the academy team is great. Eric Bailey and Marcus Senesi, perfect. I want Bove to start. He seems a good player. Also, Zalewski's amazing. Zalewski is amazing. Bove as well. You see, where do they all come through? The academy team. Much love from India. I love Italian food. You try Indian food once, you will love it. I already tried Indian food and I love it, my friend. It is amazing. Not as good as Italian food though. The players struggle bringing the ball from the back when they were pressed. Bailey and Wijnaldum will be better for that transition from the back. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I will keep you updated. I took a few days off because I was filming a day yes, a day no. I will try and film daily from now on, and then throughout the next couple of weeks. Then and yeah, but some good content is coming in the next couple of days. Actually, I'm gonna throw you guys my Serie A prediction 2022-2023, and I will also throw to you guys, and I will prepare for you guys ranking all home kits from best to worst. And then in August, I'm gonna film this massive thing, but it's gonna be announced in the next couple of days. So stay tuned. You do not want to miss it. But I will keep you updated when it comes to Wijnaldum. Positive contacts between the two sides. Thiago Pinto wants to give Mourinho Wijnaldum by the end of next week, and hopefully we do. Everyone, tag in the comments Wijnaldum to Roma, and he will come. Trust me. If you haven't already, make sure to smash the subscribe button. Let's try and get 5,000 subscribers before the season starts. I've set a challenge. Do it. Share the link with your families and friends. Also, make sure to smash the like button in this video and follow me on Instagram over here in the orange box over at Simon_AS for your daily Roma updates as well. And yeah, comment in the comments your impressions on Gini Wijnaldum. I'll catch you soon. Simon out.